Who's the girl next door living in the haunted mansion?
You'd better learn my name, cause it's
Ashley. She knows the darkest spells and she brews the meanest potions.
You might be the ingredient I seek.
Don't let yourself be fooled by her innocent demeanor.
You'd better be afraid of the great
Ashley.
Ashley, the lone young witch in training that lives with her soul demon friend called Red. The two apparently live alone in a large mansion working on spells, and when they aren't working on spells, Ashley sells her masks, and on the side helps Diamond Software make games. They are consistently working, giving little time to make new friends, even though Ashley would like some friends. Many of you guys have requested Ashley, so I researched all her moves and found out it was really hard to find material about her. It was kind of sparse. In everything she's in, she hasn't shown much aggression against anyone, well, except for Red. She hasn't fought anyone, so many of her moves I put together are from various actions she's done. Here, in this spooky episode of Super Smash Bros. Breakdown Analysis Wishlist for Ashley, here is her moveset I think she could have if, for some remote reason, Nintendo did put her in. Now, let's begin.
Ready? Go!
So for her first set of moves, we're going to begin with her A set. For her neutral A, she'd have Red use his trident to poke characters in the direction Ashley's facing. Her up A, she would shoot out a small purple electrical magic orb upwards, similar to how Ness would do his upwards A move. Down A, she'd prick her voodoo rabbit doll, and any character around her that's very close, they would twitch like they got pricked. Her side A's, Ashley would throw Red out at characters, and he would use his trident to hit other characters, but sometimes he's not ready to do the move, so when he is thrown out, his body would end up hitting the other character. I'd imagine when he's thrown and he misses the character, his face would hit the floor in some comical way. Similar to how Ness would do his double jump, I'd imagine she would jump normally first, and then when she begins her second jump, it would be her using her magic to give her that second oomph jump, the double jump. Now for her B set moves, her neutral A, she'd either use a blue orb that she pulls out of her pocket, or just from her magic, she would summon a purple electrical shockwave that floats away from her in a circle. Kind of like a shockwave, but the center of it comes from her body. With some of her moves, it would involve Red turning into objects, like her up B, which would have Red turn into a broom, and she'd grab it to fly upwards. Her down B, she would use her staff to hit the ground, which would cause two waves of magic to rise out of the ground on both sides of her and push characters away from her in an upwards diagonal fashion. Her side B, she could shoot out purple electrical magic out of her staff that Red had turned into. When it hits a character, it explode into purple electricity around that character. Now her grab sets. For her up grab, she would grab them and begin to throw them up into the air. But then Red would use his trident to pierce them, which would send them up into the air further. Her down grab, she would use magic to grab them and throw them into the ground without physically touching them. Like a similar fashion to her down grab, her side grab, she would use her magic to grab them like Lucario and throw them with her magic. Now onto Ariel Sets. Her neutral Ariel, she would use a short burst of magic energy around her body. Her up Ariel, she would use both hands, which would create a small purple electrical orb that hurts the enemies. Her down Ariel, it would be a simple kick but with purple electricity around her foot. Side Ariel, she would use magic from her hands to hit them away from her. In the Ariel backwards A move, she'd swing her staff behind her with one hand without looking and shoot them with the purple magic. It would have a short range, it wouldn't go that far. I also thought when Ashley's idle and not being moved, when Red is an object, he would eventually turn back into his normal self because he's always around her at all times, in some form or another. Now for her final smash, she would turn Red into a staff if he isn't already a staff. Her hair would turn white, which she'd use often to show that she's angry or putting on a big spell. And she'd shoot a little flower pot in the background of the level that's on the ground and shoot the flower with her magic. The magic would turn the flower in the pot into a giant Venus flytrap monster with big roots that would smack the ground repeatedly and use its mouth to try and eat other characters. There's also a rare chance, I was thinking, when she would start her final smash, that when she shoots the flower in the pot, it would become a daisy for a few seconds, like if the spell had failed. But then seconds later, it bursts into a giant Venus flytrap. These are all the moves I think she could have that I got from my research. Please tell me if you have a different moveset you think she could have. Also, please don't forget to submit a character in the comments. And thanks to all these guys for submitting Ashley. Thanks for watching, and we appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we'll see you next time in
Super
few days ago we uploaded our Super Smash Bros. Breakdown video about Lady Palutine, which Luis made. And don't forget to check out Luis's new video about his top 5 old video game commercials.